a lot of flying debris in the gardens or shopping trolleys being blown around, wheelie bins. Unfortunate, but not too devastating. But also a lot of cancelled travel. Ferries will be cancelled. Flights may be affected. Roads and bridges may be shut in places, particularly where there's obviously fallen trees or something which are causing obstructions. I believe in Ireland yesterday, a lot of the schools finished at midday because it was unsafe to stay there. And across Scotland, we've got a lot of cancelled matches, postponements, all sorts of things. So it really has had quite a big impact, this storm.
Yeah, Joe, now Storm Amy has swept in, the first named storm of the season, bringing heavy rain and strong winds. Thanks very much, Amy. An amber warning is in place for parts of northern and western Scotland, where the Met Office is warning of power cuts and flying debris that could endanger life. And in the southeast, I had to practically swim out of my front door this morning in Brighton. Well, let's get the latest with the meteorologist Joe Wheeler. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. Well, yes, certainly Storm Amy made quite an impact. In fact, record-breaking in some ways. Northern Ireland and Scotland recorded their strongest gust ever, 96 miles per hour. That's an autumn record, obviously. And also the lowest October pressure, the centre of the storm dropping to 947.9. So it really was quite a vehement storm. And the reason why, actually, you can blame it on ex-hurricane Humberto, because that was in the Atlantic and it managed to kick the jet stream into being really quite active. And that allowed this storm Amy to cross this jet stream, which was really quite powerful at the time. As it exited, it was reaching maximum strength. And that's how it arrived with us. So we were seeing signs yesterday in Galway of those winds picking up, some quite spectacular videos on social media. And obviously that storm has now been moving its way across. So sorry you had a very wet start to the day. There is still quite a lot of rain around, particularly over parts of Northern Ireland, Northern England now, and that's going to be working its way southeastwards. Elsewhere, we've pretty much got showers, and some eastern counties are actually dry at the moment. But the strong winds continue. In fact, the warning for Scotland lasts until 9 o'clock tonight. They could see some very, very strong winds. And it's going to get windy elsewhere as well, but nothing in that kind of strength that we're going to see over parts of Scotland. In fact, it's northeastern Scotland that are likely to suffer most with the very strong winds today. But when you talk about miles per hour and exactly how strong these winds are, what we're looking at, as you mentioned, is a lot of flying debris in the gardens or shopping trolleys being blown around, wheelie bins. Unfortunate, but not too devastating. But also a lot of cancelled travel. Ferries will be cancelled. Flights may be affected. Roads and bridges may be shut in places, particularly where there's obviously fallen trees or something which are causing obstructions. I believe in Ireland yesterday, a lot of the schools finished at midday because it was unsafe to stay there. And across Scotland, we've got a lot of cancelled matches, postponements, all sorts of things. So it really has had quite a big impact, this storm.
Yeah, Joe, what's the outlook for the rest of the storm season? Are we likely to see a lot more named storms coming soon?
That's almost like saying, what's the long-term forecast? And will there be snow at Christmas?
Sorry.
Really very hard to say. Obviously, this one was quite an early one. We've only just started October. And it's being Amy, it's the first named storms. After that, we go through alphabetically, male, female. It's very hard to say because this is a named storm. It was obviously a huge and violent storm. Sometimes storms are named for other reasons. They might be delivering a very high rainfall total or, again, just strong winds. It depends on the severity of the low pressure system as to whether it becomes a named storm or not. So it's hard to say. We see low pressure systems all the time in Britain. Some may be storms, some may not be. It's just the name.
Okay, thank you so much for your insight, Joe. It's always great to speak to you. That's Joe Wheeler, who is one of our favourite meteorologists.
This is... Records of anomalies in the ocean hydrography in terms of.
And some of these look different now, some of these things we're seeing different now, and I'm sure the folks who are going to talk about the atmospheric rivers and so on.
There'll be much more with this, but right now we have to break for coffee. But please join me in thanking the speakers very much for their wonderful
From ice charts and also early satellite reconstructions.
People think of Antarctica as being remote, very distant, a little bit different from the rest of the world, and it is in many ways. But in reality, the things that we're doing are impacting Antarctica strongly and increasingly so. We know that the ocean around Antarctica, the Southern Ocean, it sucks down a great deal of heat from the atmosphere, including the heat that we've put there from global warming. And we know, for example, that if you put 20 litres of fuel in your car, a litre of that, when you burn it, the heat from that will go into the ocean around Antarctica. And that matters for the ice, it matters for the wildlife, it matters for sea level, it matters for all sorts of reasons. It's undoubtedly the case that we're humans who are impacting Antarctica, but it's coming back to bite us, and we really need to know how and when that's going to happen and how that's going to evolve into the future. Well, we know a great deal, and we know that Antarctica is changing, and the rate at which it's changing is increasing. So we're seeing shifts in the ocean, we're seeing shifts in the ice sheet, we're seeing shifts in the ecosystem there. But there's a great deal that we don't know. We're still trying to get our head around why it's changing the way it is, how it's going to change in the future, and what the impacts will be on global climate, global biodiversity. We know it's going to be profound. We're already seeing signs of these. We know that things like sea level rise are being accelerated because of the changes happening in Antarctica. But what we really need to do is enhance the science so can we narrow down these things going forward and get better understanding of what it means for the rest of the planet. What we're seeing is things like extreme heat waves, levels of temperature change in Antarctica we've never seen before and didn't expect to see. We're seeing the ice retreating at a rate we'd never have guessed 20 years ago. And all of a sudden we're seeing this happening in front of our eyes. We need to figure out why. We need to figure out what it means for the rest of the planet. But it's very concerning because it means that we don't have yet the knowledge base that we need on which to make future projections that are relevant for all of society. Comments like that really don't help. What we need to do is keep making the case on the basis of scientific facts, and that's what we're establishing. We need to tell the scientific truth. What we need to do ultimately is convince as many world leaders as we can, as many people in positions of influence as we can, that what we're saying is real, and that if we're going to protect our societies over the next decades into the next century, we need to take it seriously and we need to start now. This matters for global economies. It's not just people around the world, it's economies, it's societies, it's the whole functioning of our planet. And people really need to take that seriously, starting now, including all the world leaders everywhere.